It is very reasonable that maybe in my lifetime, but in your kids' lifetime, somebody's going to find evidence of life on another world. And because if we found such a signal, it would, dare I say it, change the world.
The day we discover life will signal a change in the human condition that we cannot foresee or imagine.
That's pretty good.
As Bill Nye
It's
the Science
amazing.
Guy.
It really is amazing.
And now they're full-grown adults with kids, and some of them have kids, and you're like Papa Science here.
Yeah.
And you were the heir apparent to what maybe was in our generation. Who's the guy on TV? Mr.
Don Herbert.
Yeah,
Mr.
Don Herbert.
Wizard. I had lunch with him. I look like nobody. I had lunch with him.
Don Herbert. And he was Mr. What was he?
Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard. Yeah.
Are you fooling with me, Mr. Wizard? So I went to his memorial service.
Oh.
And you guys, I was just crying. I just couldn't get over it, man. The guy was so influential. I can tell you the technical aspects of everything, but his show was done intuitively. The Science Guy show, we had all this research that 10 years old is as old as you can be to get the so-called lifelong passion for science.
To get it when you.
So it was dialed in.
I was 9.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
It was dialed in for people 10 years old.
As Bill Nye
It's
the
amazing.
Science Guy.
It really is amazing.
And now they're full-grown adults with kids, and some of them have kids, and you're like Papa Science here.
Yeah.
And you were the heir apparent to what maybe was in our generation. Who's the guy on TV? Mr.
Don Herbert.
Yeah,
Mr.
Don Herbert.
Wizard. I had lunch with him. I look like nobody. I had lunch with him.
Don Herbert. And he was Mr. What was he?
Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard. Yeah.
Are you fooling with me, Mr. Wizard? So I went to his memorial service.
Oh.
And you guys, I was just crying. I just couldn't get over it, man. The guy was so influential. I can tell you the technical aspects of everything, but his show was done intuitively. The Science Guy show, we had all this research that 10 years old is as old as you can be to get the so-called lifelong passion for science.
To get it when you.
So it was dialed in.
I was 9.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
It was dialed in for people 10 years old. In fact, people talk about climate change now regularly. As you know, I've been whining about it for.
You got a whole book.
Yes.
Well, what's the name of that book?
Undeniable.
Undeniable.
Perhaps?
Yes. A whole book talking about the reality of climate change and how to spread that information against misinformation.
Misinformation.
Yes.
Largely
Undeniable.
from fossil fuel industry, who's worked hard to make scientific uncertainty the same as doubt about the whole thing.
Right.
But that aside, you can argue that climate change on Earth was discovered by studying the atmosphere of Venus. And so in 1984 or so. So this is really an extraordinary thing. It's this classic Bruce Murray. What are you going to find when you go exploring these other worlds? We don't know.
In the day, I mean, 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
Compare robots then to today. Today, I'm walking down the street in LA. There's a car with no driver.
Yes.
No driver.
You
They're
may
making
see-
left turns.
Yeah.
They're turning, going straight.
You may see the bumper sticker here in California on the Tesla that says, "I'm probably not driving." It's pretty charming. But no.
Okay, so
note
these are
well.
robots. It's a car robot in that
Yes,
sense, right?
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
What do you got here?
So this is the Spirit rover, a picture of the Spirit rover, and the cameras.
And it's solar panels.
Yes, the cameras were set up to be, this is the expression, as high as a 10-year-old's eye. So that these cameras were put there so that humankind could imagine ourselves walking around, driving around on Mars. And talking about the planetary side, the lore that we promote, and I think you alluded to this earlier, is that Bruce Murray was a young guy in the 1960s, co-founder working on the Mariner program.
Mariner to Mars.
Mars, which was the Ranger spacecraft repurposed to go.
Ranger went to the moon to map the moon.
And as a
for
kid, I was
Apollo.
being class and we watched the moon come up. Yeah, except it's in space, no sound.
Yeah, some of
and
the
so-
Rangers crash landed.
Yeah,
right.
on purposefully. And to see what the lunar surface was like up close.
So I forgot all about Mariner, because Mariner, I think, took the first pictures of Mars that revealed there were no canals.
Yeah.
At some
And so this Bruce Murray gets credit when you're talking to us at the planetary site for being the guy who insisted that spacecraft have cameras.
because people think scientists love pictures, but we don't give a rat's ass about a picture.
Well, it
It's-
depends on the picture.
No, what I mean is there's much less science in a photo than the public is led to believe.
Yeah, well,
We get chart recorders, we get
Geiger
magnetometers,
counters,
Geiger counters,
magnetometers,
we got
spectra. We got a lot of optical.
Give me spectra over a photo any day.
Yeah.
But if people get doe-eyed about how beautiful
it
the
changed
universe
the world.
is, it changed the world.
Pictures from
They
space
can change the world. That's very clever. So what you're saying is, to summarize, whatever's going on in the shadow is not directly influenced by the sun.
It's directly influenced, but it's not the only influence.
No. Sorry, you get an authentic background lighting from the rest of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's send a shadow caster to Mars. I was in a meeting.
A
at Cornell.
Stratocaster? That's a
That's
guitar.
the blues guitar.
Okay.
And you, I don't know if you are a Stratocaster master, but there is, the idea was to send this post, the stick, to Mars to cast a shadow. And I was in the meeting and I said, aren't there many, many things to cast a shadow? No, we need it to fall on something precisely calibrated or well-known colors or grayscale. And so I was in the meeting. Now, my dad had the misfortune of being a prisoner of war in World War II for almost 4 years. And he told the story often of looking at
Japan?
In China at first and then Japan at the end of the war. They got, as Japanese influence shrunk, they got moved to the South Island of Japan for the last year of the war. But he would, by all accounts, stick a shovel handle in the soil and watch the shadow and reckon when it was lunchtime, kind of thing. And so he came
very
back.
sundial of him.
That's
Yes.
right. So he wrote a book about sundials. He was the astronomy merit badge counselor. He made a
That
sundial
would be for the Boy Scouts.
for the Boy Scouts. So I was in the meeting. They're going to send a metal stick to Mars to cast a shadow.
So you have genetic proclivity.
I'm just jumping out of my chair. You guys, we got to make that into a sundial.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't put a shovel here for
So
this.
they were all looking at me like, dude, it's the space program. Bill, I see you're wearing a watch. No, come on. It'll
So
be
it
like
on this
people
it
who
says
speak Klingon, except it'll be real.
Mars 2004, 2 worlds, 1 sun.
That's so Lou Friedman, one of our founders, came up with that.
Beautiful.
We were having dinner at a place that's now, it was Louise Trattoria. Now it's Cheesecake Factory. But he said, 1 sun, 2 worlds. And in a few seconds, we all went, oh, no, 2 worlds, 1 sun. That's really inspirational.
This sort of thing, yeah.
So,
And did you ride in Air Force One time?
Yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah, excuse me.
Barack Obama got to meet me
Yeah.
and spent some time.
Did you chilling with Barack?
Well,
there you
yeah.
go.
But he is a very thoughtful and frankly charming guy.
And smart, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was brilliant. And so we talked about space exploration
Yeah, good.
on Marine One.
Oh,
I know
the
you've hung
helicopter.
out with him, but it was
Not on his
quite,
airplanes, though.
but it was
Just-
quite cool, and he was very receptive
Mhm.
to addressing climate change.
Yeah,
he was
good.
very interested in that.
Mhm.
And his policies led to the beginning of the start of a beginning of climate policies involved in the Inflation Reduction Act, AKA the Clean Power.
Right.
And I testified in front of Congress in 2013 about the importance of this mission, where we're looking for signs of life on another world and or organic material from on another world to learn more about our own world. And we do it for inspirational, wonderful joy of discoveries reasons. But it's also, if you want to be the world leader in technology, you invest in space exploration.
I testified once, but I felt like it was going into a black hole.
Well, that's
I know.
a black hole. See what he did there?
But I wasn't representing a whole organization as you are.
Well,
so
that's what I say.
That's a different force
Well,
operating.
Plus, I'm one voice, and my voice is not irrelevant, to be sure. It's relevant. But when these congressmen and senators get thousands, tens of thousands of 10Ks of letters and emails, it affects them.
Yeah.
Everything, you are part of this great process of discovery, this adventure. And Bruce Murray used to talk about the unknown horizon. Why are you guys sending spacecraft out to these extraordinary distant places? What are you going to find? We don't know what we're going to find. That's why we're sending the spacecraft.
I think it's Einstein that famously said, Research is what I'm doing when I don't know what I'm doing.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's completely
And Isaac
it.
Asimov, science doesn't begin with a hypothesis. It begins with, oh, that's funny.
Oh, no, you got that wrong.
Oh, help me out.
Yeah, he said very few scientific discoveries, if any, ever begin with eureka.
Mhm.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What is that?
So we explore the planets. So another thing I credit the Planetary Society for and its philosophies and its outlook is turning objects in space into worlds. So planets become more interesting, moons become places to go and revisit, but there was a whole other goal, and that was the search for intelligent
It
life
still is.
in the universe.
Oh, man. It is very reasonable that maybe in my lifetime, but in your kids' lifetime, somebody's going to find evidence of life on another world. And because if we found such a signal, it would, dare I say it,
Change the world. The day we discover life will signal a change in the human condition that we cannot foresee or imagine.
That's pretty good.